today, well, we're working on a van. You might have guessed that because it's behind me. Today's video is not really about working on a van, it's about how we're not going to work on a van. And how much, I don't like working on vans. We'll discuss some of that later. I guess first we should talk about the different kinds of vans. First we got the minivan. And minivans are just basically front-wheel drive cars. They're a little taller, a little longer. If you're gonna get one, get a Dodge. They're good vehicles. And then I suppose the next one that comes to mind would be utility van, or plumber's van. They're just a stripper model, not many electronics to give trouble, no carpet, no headliner, no nothing. You just wash it out with a garden hose if you want to. Great for hauling tools around and stuff because they're out of the weather, people can't see them. The next van that comes to mind is the homeschooler van. You know the homeschooler van when you see it because it's like full size, it's a big van, extra long. I mean, you must be able to get like 20 kids in one of those things. You'll typically see them at the library, just cruise by your local library, you'll probably see a homeschooler van. And then you get into the various subgroups of vans, like stripper models people turn into campers and stuff like that. I imagine they're awful to work on because you got people just taking a regular van, they put a shower and toilet and all kinds of stuff in there. That sounds terrible. That leads us to the old conversion van. The worst vans ever to work on. Typically these things were ordered by a dealer as a stripper model with just a few options they wanted, like power windows and an air conditioner. And then they went somewhere to get converted. And in the conversion process, they add fancy door panels and fancy carpet and fancy headliners and tall tops like that. And in the process of doing all this, they attach cup holders and, like I just mentioned, carpet headliners. They even cut big old holes in the side and put windows in with mini blinds and curtains. Wood trim, real wood trim. And in the process of doing this, they don't give any regard to the vehicle wiring. They just start shooting wood screws everywhere to bolt all this on. And typically vans like these, you'll turn the headlights on and the horn along. You turn the turn signal on and the gauge cluster will flash off and on like the gas gauge switch or something weird. I worked at the GM dealership when these things were like super in style. This is a 95. It's only been like 4 years old. There was a whole rash of these and always some sort of weird electrical wiring problem because the conversion place shot screws through a wire somewhere. So that's part of the reason these are awful to work on. After I open the hood, I'll show you some more reasons these things are awful to work on. Which leads me to the inside. If you got to work on one of these and you want to access the distributor, the spark plugs, the air filter even, it's from the inside. They got the doghouse thing in there. And on the stripper models, taking the doghouse off, that's not too bad because there's not a bunch of stuff in the way. It's just all open in there. There's no back seats. You just take it off and throw it to the side and go to work. But these conversion vans, they screwed cup holders, change pockets, all kinds of doodads and gadgets to that doghouse. So when you want to work on one, typically the customer would bring it in because the cup holders and the change pockets are all there. There'd be $57 worth of pennies in the console loose. There'd be the glove boxes also there too. You never know what you're going to find with the glove boxes. You just hope they stay latched so you don't have to pick all that. So you're dealing with all the customers' personal belongings in there. And then they usually put custom captain's chairs in for seats. So you finally get all the latches and the bolts and the gadgets off of the doghouse and you can take it off. And it no longer fits between the seats or out the door. So it's a whole wrestling match to get that out. That always was awful. If we open the hood of this up, you'll see the other reasons the vans are awful to work on. So we got the hood of the van open, and you might think, oh, I could get through the front there and I could check on the belt or put a new belt on or, maybe do something to the front of the motor, water pump, pulleys, power steering pump, but no, this is all you get, you know. The motors, well, it's dark, but it's down in there, trust me, but you can't touch none of it. So I guess, you know, you can check fluids with these dipsticks that are 4 miles long. The transmission one's even worse. So that's a lot of the reason vans are awful to work on. And then you think, oh, I'll go inside and take the doghouse off. I can get the stuff there. Well, typically not. Typically the hole's just barely big enough to do much anything other than air cleaner. We're not going to get into that because it don't have to come off. I thought it was going to have to, but I'll show you why it don't have to. There's the blower motor. So, you know, if you take that out of the way, you might be able to work on the blower motor. Air conditioner lines, heater hoses. Oh, what a nightmare. Yep, van life. Now that we've looked under the hood and seen that, you know, you just can't do much under the hood of the van, let's lift it up on the hoist and see if we can get much done under the bottom. Remember what I was talking about? The tall top up there? Well, that hits the limit switch on the hoist, and this is all the farther it goes up. So, you can see the problem there? So, you know, it's kind of hard to work like this. So typically the maintenance under there just doesn't get done, because a lot of places this is what they have for hoists now. And that's the way it is. So typically it's a whole lot of neglect under there. This van is a 1995. It's got the throttle body, 350 fuel injection, and it's only got 120,000 miles on it. Because those engines were so reliable and didn't give hardly any trouble, at that mileage it may have had spark plugs put in it twice, or once, or none. So we'll have to get under there and check that out too, because that was one of the things that was going to fix on this, but we're not doing that either. So here we are under the van. I don't know if you can see. How can I see and you can't see? Up there, maybe there. That looks to be like an Autolite spark plug. And this didn't come with Autolite spark plugs in it, it came with AC plugs in it. So somebody's put plugs in, and as good as they look, I think it's been recent enough we don't have to worry about that. So it was one of the things I wanted to do, is put spark plugs in this, tune it up a little, you know, but I think it's been done. Also, it's got some exhaust leaks. And what you're looking at there is where I thought the exhaust leak was. Because, you know, you see that stud's broken off, and if you look around the corner here, that's a C-clamp. So that's typically how vans get fixed. Oh, I'm just going to throw a C-clamp on there and that'll stop my exhaust leak. Well, it might help, but we can't do much without taking the whole van apart, because there's no threads left on these studs. And this side over here, it's the same way. There's absolutely no threads left. They've rusted all the way off. So that means up on top here, where they thread into the exhaust manifold, they're going to be so seized they're not coming out unless you use a torch, probably an easy out, and a tap, and a drill, and, you know, might as well just totally remake the whole exhaust manifold. So if we want to fix that, we got to get up into there and take the spark plugs out we don't have to replace, and pull the exhaust manifolds off both sides and fix all that up. And then we can fix the exhaust up. But, you know, I got to looking and poking and digging around, and man, this thing's just full of holes. It needs, well, it needs everything. It's just the muffler's full of holes. So I guess we don't have to worry about fixing exhaust leaks either. And we don't have to worry about fixing exhaust leaks because this has got the 4L60 transmission in it. Oh, excuse me, 4L60E transmission in it. So we'll just wait till the transmission goes bad, and while we got the transmission out, we'll fix some of the rest of this stuff too. So this is why I don't like working on vans, is, you know, everything's always wrong. You want to fix one thing, like, you know, small exhaust leak or a muffler, and you end up overhauling the whole exhaust system. That's typically how working on vans go. I think I can fix this up good enough to get us by. I'll show you an exhaust fixing trick. Okay, I'm back. I had to get my special exhaust fixing stuff. And this is just what we're gonna do for now. We're just gonna sneak that right on there. There we go. It's fixed. Another little piece on the bottom. And now we can address this muffler. And we'll just kind of do the same thing, except all the way around. See? There we go. That should get us through until the transmission goes out. Here's some more reasons conversion vans are absolutely awful to work on. Like, this is none of this. This giant loom. General Motors did not build the van with this stuff. And they poke it up in here, so if you got to work on the steering column or something, it's, you know, up there in the way of just everything. And this one box says Valet, what is that? And it's from the 90s. So if your van quits running because of some of this stuff, how are you gonna figure that out? There's more of it. And it's connectors everywhere. Nobody knows what that is. So good luck on your conversion van project. And I got spooked. I was in here with the side cutters and cut a couple wires off, and the door dinger was door dinging. The door dinger quit, but it just happened to be, you know, coincidence. Door dinger still works. That's about all you can do when you encounter something like this, is cut one or two wires at a time and check, make sure everything still works, and go from there, because, I mean, you don't need this extra stuff weighing you down, and who knows, if something fails, like on an alarm system or something, that part of it's still hooked up, that might just leave you stranded alongside the road somewhere. So I guess that's that. I really thought when I brought this van into the shop I'd be able to do some fixing on it, make it better, you know, fix it up a little bit. I guess not. So we'll just do the old Craigslist rebuild. There we go, fully rebuilt. Thanks for watching the I was gonna fix a van and then didn't video.